You always believed the world could be bent with enough love, that hearts could be softened, drawn closer just by being kind, just by being present, especially his. John Jungkook, your childhood friend, your late night confidant, the boy who once gave you his jacket when you cried after your stepmother's harsh words, the boy who didn't realize that in doing so, he wrapped your soul around his without even trying. Born into families with names that meant something, names whispered in boardrooms and printed in Forbes, you both grew up in the polished yet hollow luxury of high society. Private jets, international boarding schools, and summer homes that look like museums. But despite the grandeur, Jungkook was your realist escape, your realist pain. Now, in your third year of university, you sit in lecture halls made of Italian marble, where business deals are discussed more than homework, and still your eyes wander to him, always him. His laughter echoing through the halls, his presence commanding every room without effort. You love him the way the moon loves the ocean, always close, always there, but never quite able to touch without causing destruction. You never confessed, not when you baked cookies and left them in his locker with a note signed, Guess Who. Not when you skipped your own 18th birthday gala to be by his side after he lost a business pitch for his startup idea. Not when he called you at 2 a.m. saying he felt like the world didn't see him and you stayed on the line until sunrise, telling him every reason why he mattered. Instead, you became the best friend, the listener, the helper. You watched him flirt with other girls, dated a few people yourself, mostly out of pressure, never out of affection. But you loved him with your every quiet action. You'd order his coffee the way he liked it, arrange meetings around his schedule, even stood up to your father once when he belittled Jungkook's dreams. But Jungkook, he never looked past the surface, or maybe he did and chose not to see. The cruel part of loving someone silently is that your heart breaks in private. No one knows what you're losing because technically you never had it in the first place. Jungkook was sitting 2 rows ahead, back straight, black ink scribbling absent-mindedly in the margins of his notebook. His sleeves were rolled up, veins dancing under the skin as his pen moved. He had that quiet charisma, the kind that didn't try to demand attention but always owned it. He turned and your eyes met. It was just a flicker, less than a second, but he smiled like he meant it, the kind of smile that made your stomach tighten. You lowered your gaze before the heat reached your face. Ryan, he murmured, beckoning with a tilt of his head. Come here. Just like that, the noise of the hall dimmed. You got up, ignoring the quickened beat in your chest, and walked down the marble steps. You slid into the seat beside him, your thigh brushing his for the briefest moment. He nudged his iPad towards you. A black and white sketch, a woman, eyes half-lidded, lips parted in a soft sigh, familiar, painfully so. She looks like you stopped. You. Jungkook finished for you. You turned to him slowly while your heart was racing. Why? It's surprising, I know. I just started sketching and then there you were. He gave a slight shrug like it wasn't a big deal, but he looked down right after, pretending to be interested in the iPad again, like he knew what he had done to you. I think you have been in my mind a lot lately. You couldn't speak, not with your heart screaming inside you, not with his voice lingering in your skin like heat, but someone else noticed. From the upper corner of the hall, your stepsister crossed one leg over the other with deliberate grace. Her red-tipped nails tapped lightly against her notebook, though her eyes never once moved away from the scene below. She saw the way Jungkook leaned towards you. She saw the way your body softened, how you folded towards him like you have done it for years. And she hated it because to her, love wasn't sacred, it was a game. She didn't want him for his heart, she wanted him because she could have him, because you couldn't stop her. You felt her stare before you saw it, that unblinking gaze, that calculated smirk. Your stomach dropped. You knew that look. It was the look she gave the first time she accidentally dated the boy who gave you roses in ninth grade. The look she wore when she stole your mother's heirloom necklace just to wear it at a party you weren't invited to. And now she had found your weakest spot. Jungkook chuckled softly beside you, nudging your arm. You okay? You forced a smile, but it cracked at the edges. Yeah, just tired. But inside your world had already started to shift. Because your love for him had always been silent, hidden behind smiles, good morning texts, and late night conversations no one else knew about, but now someone did know, and she would make sure you paid for it. The campus library wasn't anything special, a little too warm, always smelling faintly of old paper and cinnamon from the vending machine nearby. People didn't really come here for silence. It was more like a halfway house between boredom and procrastination. You were slouched into a worn armchair near the back window, one leg tucked under you, hair tied up messily, highlighter in your mouth, textbook in your lap, a look of complete and utter mental defeat on your face. Still studying like you were trying to win a war, came a voice behind you. You didn't have to turn to know who it was. Kai, you sighed, a tired smile on your lips. Don't you have anything better to do than stalk me? Not when you look this stressed. I feel like it's my civic duty to rescue you. You rolled your eyes but didn't push him away when he sat across from you. There was something oddly comforting about him, familiar, harmless, predictable. He leaned his elbows on the table. You know, we were good once. You glanced up. We were chaotic. He shrugged. Chaos makes life interesting. You laughed under your breath, not when it breaks you. He didn't answer that, just watched you with a curious glint in his eyes. Do you miss me? You blinked, caught off guard. What? I mean it. Not like, do you want to date me again? Just, do you ever miss us? You hesitated, and at that very moment, just outside the glass wall, Jungkook walked past. He wasn't looking for you, not actively, but his eyes found you anyway. He stopped, the sight of you laughing softly, brushing a strand of hair behind your ear as Kai leaned in just a little too close. It gutted him. He didn't wait to see more, he walked away faster than before. You looked at him for a moment and then you said honestly, sometimes I miss the version of us that never existed. Kai didn't smile. He just looked at you like he finally saw something he had missed all those years ago. You always had a way of cutting through the pretty lies. You shrugged. I got tired of bleeding from them. He leaned back in his seat, arms crossed, his voice dropped. You are different now. Yeah, growing up does that to people. No, it wasn't time. It was him. You stilled. Kai watched you, eyes narrowing with something between resignation and reluctant respect. Jungkook, right? He stood up, picking up his bag. The chair creaked softly beneath him. For what it's worth, I'm glad you found someone who sees you. You met his eyes. I haven't, not really. His brows furrowed. You looked away. He doesn't know? Kai's throat bobbed. Then he's an idiot. You let out a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. At least you don't say that. He smiled faintly one last time. I know, but still, if he hurts you, you know I'm always two steps away from saying something reckless. And with that, he turned and walked off. You exhaled. A quiet ache bloomed in your chest. You weren't in love with Kai anymore. That much was clear, but there was a strange kind of peace in knowing that someone who once broke you still remembered how it felt to hold you. Outside, Jungkook was burning with jealousy and anger. He clenched his jaw, turning away just as another voice drifted in beside him. Well, said Minji, stepping out of nowhere with a smile that never touched her eyes. This feels familiar. Jungkook didn't respond. His gaze was fixed ahead. She tilted her head. You okay? I'm fine. She followed his eyes towards the window. Ah, him. Jungkook didn't answer. She sighed dramatically. I used to think she was smarter than that. Running around with her ex, kind of a cliche. They are just talking. Sure, she said with a shrug. That's how it starts. A little talk here, a little smile there. Next thing you know, you are the one standing outside the window while she laughs with someone who already broke her once. Jungkook flinched. She told me she doesn't talk to him anymore. Minji blinked. Oh, ouch. He looked at her. She raised her brows. I mean, if she's hiding it, maybe there's a reason. Don't, he warned, but his voice was already shaky beneath the surface. I'm just saying, Minji whispered, stepping closer. Her voice velvet wrapped venom. Maybe some girls like having options. Maybe you are just one of them. That's not her. Then why are you out here, Jungkook? She asked, tilting her hand. Why do you look like that? He had no answer. Because deep down, some cruel part of him was asking the same thing. Minji placed a gentle hand on his arm, her smile almost tender. Just be careful where you invest your heart, Some people are better at pretending than loving. Then she walked away, heels tapping a slow, smug rhythm across the stone path. And Jungkook stayed there outside the library window, watching the two of you, your smile, your peace, and he felt it, the slow cold shift of something breaking inside him. Jungkook had been quiet since that day, not cold, not distant, just unreadable, like he was trying to solve something in his head but didn't want to give it away. You chalked it up to stress, midterms, family pressure, his father's recent visit, so you didn't push. Instead, you focused on surviving the chaos of campus when you saw him. Jungkook barely looked at you as you walked beside him. You nudged him gently. You okay? He nodded. Yeah, just tired. You frowned. You have been saying that a lot. He didn't answer. You stopped walking. Jungkook, talk to me. He turned slowly, jaw tied. How long has he been back? Your stomach twisted. Who? Kai. You stared at him. He's not back. He just goes here and he said hi. He laughed bitterly. Right, just hi. You stepped forward. Why does it matter? Because I saw the way he looked at you, and maybe I was stupid enough to think you only let me look at you like that. Your heart cracked. You didn't know why he was talking like that. Don't say that. Don't make it dirty. He looked away, breathing through his nose. Did you ever stop feeling something for him? You were stunned. Are you seriously asking me that right now? He didn't respond, and that silence, it said everything. You were in your backyard, sitting by the fountain, scrolling through your phone, when you felt a shadow fall across you. You looked up, and there she was, flawless fake. Hey sis, she said, voice sweet like syrup. Got a minute? You set your phone down. What do you want? She smiled wider. So defensive, you act like I'm always plotting something. Because you are. You replied flatly. She laughed, then leaned against the edge of the stone bench, her tone dropping slightly. I saw you today with Kai. You raised an eyebrow. So? Her voice softened, but every syllable was a blade. I just thought Jungkook should know. I mean, he looked so into you the other day. Poor thing doesn't even realize he's probably just your rebound. You stood up sharply. Don't. Don't what? She said wide-eyed. Tell him the truth? There's no truth there. Kai is a friend. Jungkook knows that. She tilted her head. Does he though? You stepped closer. You're not doing this again. You have already taken enough from me. She leaned in, her perfume sharp and suffocating. I haven't taken anything. People leave you all on their own, Vian. I just give them a little nudge. You stared at her, chest rising, and she smiled. The sky had been heavy all morning, clouds pressing down like a secret too loud to keep anymore. You were sitting on the stairs in the courtyard when Kai sat beside you, uninvited but familiar. You didn't stop him. Because honestly, you were tired. Tired of pretending Jungkook's silence didn't hurt. Tired of walking past him and pretending your heart didn't ache every time he looked through you. I told him, Kai said quietly. You blinked. Told who? Jungkook. You turned to him slowly. What did you tell him? He stared at the rain falling in the fountain, then exhaled. That I still love you. You froze. Kai, why? Because he needed to hear it, he said, looking at you finally. He was standing there like a goddamn ghost, asking me if I ever loved you, like he needed a reason to walk away from you. Your lips parted but no sound came. He was quiet after that, didn't say much, just nodded once, the way he does when he's hurting but won't show it. You shut your eyes. He thinks I'm what makes you feel safe, comfortable, that you look so at ease when you are with me and never with him. I didn't say it to hurt him, Vian, but maybe he needed to let you go. You stood abruptly, heart pounding in your throat. You don't get to decide that for me. Neither of you do. There was a dinner at Jungkook's house, one of those stiff upper-class gatherings filled with billionaires and soulless smiles. You were late. You didn't want to go, but something told you to show up anyway. And that's when you saw it. Her hand in his, your stepsister, glowing in a silk gown, looking at him like he was already hers. He didn't look at you, not even once. Your mother leaned over and whispered, I heard they're getting engaged. Your stomach dropped. You stepped outside, the cold air slicing through your lungs, shaking hands, gripping the railing of the staircase. And then you heard footsteps behind you. You didn't turn around. You could have told me. I didn't owe you that, Jungkook said flatly. You looked over your shoulder. His eyes were red, tired but guarded. You are really doing this, marrying her? You whispered. He didn't answer, so you laughed, bitter and broken. Because of Kai? Because I thought you would be happier with him. Because every time I looked at you, I saw how your shoulders dropped when he walked in, like you could finally breathe. That was comfort, you said, stepping towards him, not love, and you know it. He looked at you, and for a moment, just 1 second, the wall cracked, his lips parted, his eyes softened. But then the door opened again. Jungkook, your stepsister's voice called, They're waiting for us. You both stood there, the moment hanging between you like a noose. He stepped back. He was holding so much pain and it was visible in his eyes. I'm not doing it because I want to. I too wish things were different, but I guess now I have to proceed with my parents' plan. Saying that, he walked away. It was never Jungkook's choice. The proposal came from your father and stepmother, a perfect alliance on paper. His parents accepted without hesitation, sealing his fate before he could say a word. He didn't choose her. He was just honoring a decision made for him, even if it meant breaking both your hearts. That night, as the rain poured harder than before, you sat on your bedroom floor, Jungkook's old hoodie clutched to your chest. And the cruelest part, you couldn't even blame him because he loved you enough to let you go. For a truth you never even spoke.